inside the features, inside the authentication, I want us to go to domain, and here we are going to create a new class, new file, and the name of this file is going to be app user. So here we are going to define our app user, and the user has different properties, which I'm going to type real quick. And now here, after that, I'm just going to right click here, and I'm going to go to generate, and I'm going to click on that data class section. I'm going to select on all of these, Control A, and click on OK. And now I'm going to remove this. That is possible because if I go to settings, and if I go to plugins, there is this class called that data class. That is this what has made me possible to generate all this code without writing them by hand. Also, so this, as you can see, this is for registering a normal user. We also have doctors, and doctors are also users because they also have their name, their email, their phone number, the image URL, the location, and all this information. But they also have the additional information like the specializations, years of experience, etc. So I want us to create another class. So this one is going to be a doctor, and it's going to be a class doctor, which is going to extends app user like that. And then now I'm going to create a constructor that is now going to factor in all the other properties. And with that, first of all, we have the constructor, okay, with the information from our app user, okay, and now we have the properties that are exclusive to the type doctor, okay. So let me add that to map. So I'm gonna add this. It was not generated, and with that we get to solve. We can now close this, and now in the data we are going to create the auth repository, and I did the same in the Bed Donation app as well. So this one is going to send in the email, the user with email and password, passing in the email and also the password. Okay. And now I'm going to create another method here for registering a user. And with this, so this one is for creating a app user with email and password. Okay, so it's going to require an email, a password, a name, a phone number, the file, the location, longitude, and also the type of the user. So the first thing that we do is to create a user with email and password, passing the email and the password. From there, we work on uploading the profile image and get the download URL, okay? And we are uploading the image to the Firebase storage, okay? And so we are going to save the profile image inside the folder profile images under the user ID, okay? And with that, we upload the profile image using this put file method, and we get the profile image URL, okay, which is snapshot.ref.getDownloadURL. So we get that download URL, which we are gonna in turn save it to Firebase Firestore. So let me import this. We create a Firestore instance, and with that, and now we save our app user, which now has all the information that the user has provided to Firestore. Okay, so we go to collection our users. Under the user ID, so under the user ID, we save this information using the app user.tomap method. Okay. So with that, we are able to save the user. So you can pause the video and write this code if you want to. Or again, you can click on the link below to get all the source code. Fantastic. So again, I want now to create a method to register a doctor. So this was for a user, and now I want to create one for registering a doctor. So again, this for registering a doctor is just the same as what we did for user, but I wanted that just to separate these methods to know what we are doing. Okay. So again, we create the user with email and password. We get that credential, and then after creating the user, we upload their profile image to Firebase storage. Okay. And then we get the download URL from snapshot.ref.getDownloadURL. And then we finally save that information to Firebase Firestore under their own user ID. Now I want us to create a method to get the current user, a method to get the auth state changes, and also a method to sign the users out. And so this user, as you can see, is a nullable user because the user can be null. So this one returns the auth.current user. Also, this is for auth state changes. So it returns auth.auth state changes. Again, this is for sign out. So await auth.signout to sign out the user. So finally, what I want us to do is to create a provider to be able to access these methods and also this class from other parts of the application. So like that. So I want to run the build. So what I want to do is that I'm gonna come here on top and say part out the repository.g.dat like that. And now with that, I can come here. So this is one for the set changes, and this is one for returning the current user. So I'm gonna come to the here at the command prompt at the console here, and I'm gonna run this the build runner once again. And with that, we have been able to get this out repository.g.dat files with all the providers that we need. Cool. So the another thing that now we need to create is the controller to be able to help us to update the state of our screen so that we can have maybe loading indicators and things like that. So I'm gonna come here to presentation because this is dealing with the UI, and I'm gonna create a folder here called controller. And here I'm going to call it auth controller. So here, this one is for signing in the user with the email and password. First of all, we are going to check if the email is empty or if the password is empty. So if one of them is empty, we are going to give them an error message. So if not, we are gonna change the state to loading, and then we are gonna try to sign in the user with email and password. And when that happens, it's going to change the state to async loading or async data. Okay. So in case of an error, it's going to give us an error. Okay. So I want us now to create one for registering the doctor and also registering the app user. So this one is for creating an app user. Okay. So again, we perform some validations here. If the email is empty, or the password, or the name, or the type, or the phone number, or the location has not been selected, okay, or the longitude and latitude have not been selected, or the profile image has not been selected, we are going to give this error to tell them that ensure that the details are selected. Else, we try to create the app user with email and password, passing all the information required. Okay. So lastly, I'm going to do the same for the doctor. And here is one for doctor as well. So again, we are going to require all that information, and then we are going to perform some validations. If they do not pass, we give them that error. So if not, so if they pass, then we attempt to create that user or that doctor rather with email and password, passing the email and password and all the other required information. Okay. And again, this auth controller is going to be very useful to help us in updating the state of application. For example, adding a loading indicator here to just let the user that something is happening behind the scenes. Okay. So now, since we are going to need to create a provider for this class as well, so here we can change this. Instead of extending async notify of type void, what we can do though is that we can add underscore dollar auth controller like that. Okay. And we are going to add at Riverpod annotation here, at Riverpod annotation. Okay, and I'm gonna import Riverpod annotation. And lastly, we are gonna add part auth controller .g.dat so that when we run the build runner, it's going to create the file for us. So I'm gonna run the build runner once again. And by that, the auth controller here has been created with the provider that we are gonna use. So now let us go and try now to log in the user. Okay, so I'm gonna go to the sign in screen, and in here at the top, so if I can go back to the auth controller once more. As you can see here, we said that in case of errors, we need to show them to the user. In case here, the async value ends up returning an async error, we want also to display that error to the user, telling them that something went wrong somewhere. And for that, I want us to create a small method that is gonna help us handle that. Okay. And therefore, inside the common widget here, I'm going to create a widget that I'm gonna call async value. So it's an extension method, async value UI on async value. Okay. So this is going to help us handle the situation where we get an error, and that error is going to be displayed using an alert dialog. As you can see here, we have an alert dialog and icon of error. The icon is icons.error here, and the text is going to be the message, and the message is what we are going to get. So if we get like Firebase out the exceptions, we are going to display that message to the user. Okay. Or if we get any kind of error, it's going to be displayed using this alert dialog. So this is the extension method, async value UI on async value. So here in the sign in screen, in the build method, first of all, what I want to do is to get the state. So state equals to ref.watch, and we can be able to do this because this is a consumer stateful widget. So what we want to do is to look at the auth controller provider. Okay. And in case we try to log in and we get an error, I want to show that error to the user. So ref.listen, listen is a generic type. So here I'm gonna pass async value. Here is the provider that we want. So it's the auth controller. And here we get the previous state and the current state. So we are not gonna use the previous state, but we are gonna need to use the current state. Say state.show alert dialog on error, passing the context. Okay, so let us go to the button here at the bottom. First of all, we are gonna need to get the email and the password. Also, we are gonna need to get the password like that. And also ref.read the auth controller provider.notifier.sign in with email and password, passing in the email and also the password. The auto completion here was right, but here now we need to update the is loading. So instead of false, we can now get this value dynamically, and we can say state.isLoading. So here we are in the login screen. If I try to click on sign in without entering anything, as you can see here, we are told that ensure that all the details are filled. Okay. Let me just go to the async value UI once again. And here, the color that I want to use, red color, colors.red. I want to use appstyles.mainColor. Also the button, I want it to be appstyles.mainColor. So if I try to sign in again, yeah, that looks better. Let me go to now register as a user. I want us to go to the button, the register me button. And first of all, we are going to get the email, the password, the name, and the phone number, okay, from the respective controllers there. We are going to use ref.read, and here we are going to pass the auth controller provider.notifier.create app user with email and password. The profile image is going to be the elected image. The location is going to be location controller.text. The latitude is going to be latitude, and since it is nullable, we place this exclamation mark here. For longitude is longitude, like that. And the type, since we are registering as a user, I'm just going to type user there, like that. So again here, we are going to need to update the state, and for that, I'm gonna go to here at the top once again and say final state is equals to ref.watch auth controller provider. Let me use a small letter here because it's just a variable. And ref.listen, this is async value. This is auth controller provider. It's gonna give us the previous state and the new state. And here in here we can say state.show alert dialog on error, passing in the context. So that is going to be helpful in case we get an error. We want to show the user the error using an alert dialog. So here the state want the is loading to be state dot is loading. So that is a boolean, and that is exactly what we want. So I'm just gonna go to doctor register. Actually, I'm gonna open the user register here, and I'm gonna copy these two here. Okay, and since we are gonna use them like that, and then here at the in the button, first of all we get the email, the password, name, phone number, description, and the years of experience. Okay, and so with this is create doctor with email and password. We paste the email, the password, name, phone number, the profile image, which is the selected image, the location, the longitudes and latitude, the type doctor. Also, we pass the specialization, description, and also the years of experience. So here instead of false, we are going to say state dot is loading like that. Fantastic. And with that, I think we should be ready to go. We should be good to go. So I want to go and try to register as a user. If it works as a user, you'll be sure that it also works here as a doctor as well. But be sure to test it multiple times to ensure that it works on your side and also on your devices. Come here to register as a user. I'm gonna click on the profile here. And so this will open the camera, because remember at the top here, the source, I set it to camera. And this is the emulator, the camera for the emulator. So I take that image, and as you can see, that image now appears here. Also, I'm going now to enter my location. Select my location here, Boram Hill, Brooklyn, New York. And now I'm going to click on Register Me. And as you can see now, this is loading here, and now we have a loading indicator indicating that there is a background process going on. So the loading is complete. So let me go to Firebase. Let me go to Authentication. As you can see here, I have this email that has been registered successfully here. Okay, so if I open Firestore and Storage, so again, remember I connected the app that I was using before, and therefore that's why you are seeing this other data here, but you'll get into it, don't worry about it. So if I come here, this is the one that I have just created right now, okay, with the email and all this information. So if I go to storage, you will find that inside the profile images, you will find that my new image has been created. As you can see, it's May 3rd, 2025, which is the date of today. All right. So one thing that I want us to do is that once the sign-in is successful or is complete without any errors, we don't want to remain here. I want us to be directed to the home screen. And to do that, we are gonna go to router, the routes, sorry, and we are gonna do some things here. Okay, and we can let me import Firebase out. So with that, and inside here, we can say final Firebase out is equals to ref.watch Firebase out provider. And here we are going to implement something called the redirect logic, and the redirect logic is going to listen to the out state, and then it's going to direct the user accordingly. So if they are logged in, they are going to be directed to the home screen. If they are not, they are going to be directed to the sign-in screen. So here I've added that. So if user is logged in and they are in the sign-in page or in the doctor register page or in the user register page, they should be directed to the main screen. Okay. Else, if they are not logged in and they're in a page that starts with /main or they are in the /account, they should be directed to the sign-in screen. Okay. So this part will make more sense once we go further in the app. But for this to work, we are going to need to do something called to add yet another property of the GoRouter called refresh listenable. And here we are going to create a class that is going to be listening to the state of the user, and then it's going to work together with this redirect logic that we have added here to direct the user to the screen that they should be in. Okay. And for that, I'm going to create a new file here. which I'm gonna call GoRouter refresh stream. So this is the GoRouter refresh stream, and it extends change notifier, and this is a class from the foundation.dat file. Okay, so I'm gonna save that. So you can just pause the video and write it out. Okay, so I can come here, and this here I'm gonna say GoRouter router refresh stream, and here I'm gonna pass Firebase out state changes. So I want us to go to the splash screen. There are changes that we need to do there. So let us go to splash screen. So if the user is logged in, we direct them to the main screen. Else, and if they have seen onboarding already, we direct them to the sign in screen directly. And then else we are going to take them to the onboarding screen, like that. I think that sums up the authentication and the registration of the user. So I think now we should start working on the main screen. If you run the application right now, by the way, it is going to give you an error because we don't have the main screen yet. And that is the task that you are going to be doing now.